Hello and welcome to the Opening 45, the football podcast, which is the equivalent to those football debates down the pub with your mates. My name is Oliver Greystone, and with me, as always, is my co-host Will Matthews. Yeah, Will, how's it going, mate?
Yeah, not bad. Cheers, buddy. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one this week, isn't it? Seeing that last minute Duke couldn't make it, or Zoom wasn't working for him, so this is going to be on the spot making it up.
Yeah, so we've got a technical issue before the show. We're supposed to have Duke from Peckham Rye, from King of Hearts, coming on the show. We've actually now started the show a bit later than usual. We just couldn't get working, so we're going to have to get Duke back on the show at another point, maybe over Christmas time. That'll be the plan, and hopefully iron out those technical issues. But that's the problem with doing something over Zoom and recording over Zoom. That sometimes this sort of stuff is out of hand. And yeah, so we're just going to crack on with a impromptu show, Will, and yeah, we're literally just going to talk football while watching the football. So yeah, as always, we're going to be following a game each. I'm following the Southampton Man City game. I will be following Southend as well on Twitter, but I wanted something to watch as well. What game are you following, Will?
I'm going to follow Luton versus Bournemouth for two reasons. Luton seem to be our bogey team this season. We've played them twice, lost them twice. And Bournemouth, if they drop points today, means Norwich go top of the Championship by 5 or 6 points. So, yeah, it's a kind of big afternoon for me today.
Yeah, so yeah, if that goes your way, you'll be top of the Christmas tree. Which is
are we playing during the week?
Yeah, you've got one game. No, you've got this is it. This is the last game before Christmas. I'm pretty sure.
Honest, I've lost track. I've honestly lost track of the championship. We've had so many games recently and injury problems, and somehow we're still top. So it can only be positive for us.
So I've just Googled it. So yeah, according to this, your next game is Boxing Day against Watford.
So we're top anyway, no matter what.
Yeah, you're top no matter what. So you're top of the Christmas tree. If Southend fail to get a result today, we'll be bottom of the heap, 92nd out of 92, ending the year potentially. Not ending the year, but going at Christmas of being the very, very bottom of the Christmas tree. Yeah, which is what to expect really after not picking up points until literally last week. So that's interesting.
You have had some good news. Transfer embargo's finally gone.
Yeah, I got the embargo lifted, and it's no coincidence that you get that lifted and you win 2 games on the bounce. It's as simple as that, because now the manager's got a squad to work from. It means that they can actually use their players in training correctly. I don't know how much it affects a manager, but I can imagine if you've got 3 people at the club ready to play and they can't, not let alone some of the other ones that are deregistered, like people like Michael Class, who's again a youngster, but he's got experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, people like him that couldn't be registered, they're training with the club, and I can imagine it would be a bit disruptive,
But do you reckon you can turn the negative of these players not being able to play to a positive? Because these players have been training with Southend for months now, and now they're actually getting the opportunity to play in the first team. Do you reckon that's a positive? Because these players are eager; they're not bored. They're actually eager to play for Southend because they've been training with the guys. They're friends with the guys. They're not just being chucked in after a couple of days training. That's why
exactly.
Southend finally started to pick up points.
Yeah, because it's not like they've just signed 3 players and they have to come in and learn the club, learn the teammates. They've come in and they know the fabric of the club. They know what they've been working on. And for Simeon Akinola, he's been at the club since September. He's been training, week in, week out, learning how the club works. So it's not almost like new signings. It's literally like, as you say, you've got these people that are really eager to play can finally come in. And I think it's a big morale boost because they're not coming in and, taking the ball by the horns and single-handedly winning us games. They've come in and other people seem to be playing better. I think it is this sort of, morale that you've now got 3 people that they see every day almost can actually play. So I think there's some psychological part of it.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to see how they do. I mean, I'm going to look now and see what the score is. Give that a refresh. I don't follow the Southend Street. I follow Chris Phillips. So shout out to Chris Phillips from the Echo. and it's currently 0-0 still.
Good start. Good start.
Yeah, well, part of me will take that because, as I said to you before this, like the wall's going to come off at some point, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know, we're going to have to lose or drop points at some point. I just hope it's not against the team that are down in the bottom with us. And if we win today, we'll be a point behind Macclesfield. So it's yeah, we'll potentially be up. If we win today, we will be off the bottom. Of what I've read, I've not looked at the fixtures. I think maybe a couple of the teams down the bottom are playing each other.
I think you're joint on points with someone, aren't you?
No, we're a point behind everyone. There's 3 teams above us on, 2 teams above us on 13. We're on 12. Pretty depressing.
No, you're on. Oh, as things stand, you're on 13. Stevenage with a game in hand with 13. You've got a game in hand against Barrow, who are on 14, and then Bradford, 15 points, played the same amount. So
Stevenage are losing. Oh no, their game was postponed. So, you know, our goal difference. Look at that. 18 games on -20. That's not good enough. You know, so it'd be interesting to see what happens today. You know, a win that puts us on 15 points, and that will put us 22nd as things stand.
think positively.
Yeah. No, I'm positive. You know, I was always behind the manager, like during all this, but then things started to go from bad to worse, and then started to think, is the team that bad? You know, because you start to think that the team's bad and the manager's got a bad team, and there's nothing he can do about it, and then you start to think the opposite: is the team good, or is the team good enough, but the manager is not good enough? But I think we're starting to see that actually it's a decent enough squad for what we could afford, and I think the manager's growing into it as well. These assistant managers. Yeah, he's assistant managers the same age as me and you. 28, and you're an assistant manager in the football league. The manager's what, 43. It's very, 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 very young, and you got to think we started the season with an average age in the squad of 20 years. We've signed a bunch of veterans, which has really bumped up the average age. But that's what you need. I know age isn't. What's the thing they say? If you're good enough, you're old enough.
Yeah.
But they weren't good enough. They've been thrown at the deep end, and you can't judge a 19-year-old or 20-year-old now.
But in all fairness to those youngsters, they didn't get embarrassed. No. I don't think you got absolutely smashed. It was normally 1-2, 3-0s. 3-0, yeah, fair enough, ain't great.
Well, we started off bad, didn't we? We started off good, actually. We only lost 1-0 to Gillingham in the Cup, and we were actually the better side. And, fucking nearly a goal there as well. Danny Ings. I thought it like a foul, to be fair. But no, we started off well with only a 1-0 defeat against Gillingham. We thought, actually, this isn't bad. And then people like Charlie Kelman left and Hutchinson left to go bigger clubs. And then we looked really, really low on numbers again. Humphreys left as well. Yeah, because their players too good for the club at the moment. And then we're going to lose 4-0 to Harrogate, and that's not a good start for a youngster to come into the squad and all of a sudden you get spanked.
Yeah.
No, we'll see. We'll see how today goes. It's 2 wins, and all of a sudden Mark Molesley's the messiah, and we're staying up. It's like it's 2 wins. If we do our usual and go another 7 games without a win again, it's pointless. And we're back to square one, and we've gone from we're on the road to survival, but defeat today, and then we've got 2 derbies. We've got Colchester on Boxing Day and Leyton Orient. We don't want to lose those games, but on paper, we got to chalk them up as defeats. So we lose today, potentially 3 defeats, and then we go 10 points adrift.
Yeah, well, it's too early. It's only 25 minutes into the games, 24 minutes into the games. So let's keep some hope up that Southend will come out with it or something in this game.
Yeah, we'll see. And 1-0 Southend, just as we're talking.
Are you kidding me?
No. Oli and Will, who I said to you before the game that I was following Chris Phillips on Twitter, and apparently he was training on his own and looked like he had a bit of a limp or looked uncomfortable. And I was worried that he was going to pull out of the team. He's on loan from Arsenal. He actually goes back in January, and I think a lot of League One clubs will be looking at him, to be fair. Arsenal, I think, are doing too well in Europa for him to really get a shot there, because they're obviously out of the group stage now, so he won't play in the knockouts. I hope he stays, but yeah, no, 1-0 Southend. So I think then, as things stand, if I'm right in saying, we are off the bottom. We are 22nd, which is, I'll take that. Stop the count.
We were just talking about Southampton fans saying that if they pick something up against Man City.
Yeah, they're the first team to use that meme, weren't they? Which I thought was brilliant. And what game was that? What game was that? They were 1-0 up in, and they'll stop the count, wasn't it?
No, didn't they go top of the Premier League for like 12 out, like for the
night?
night?
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm gonna Google it.
And they, they literally straight away stop the count. And I think that was like 5 days after, or like, I think Trump lost the election on the Thursday, and on the Friday they did that. Sorry, Trump allegedly lost the election.
Yeah, I've just found it, so I'm gonna retweet that on the show. See about see that tonight. But yeah, top of the Premier League after 8 games. Yeah, stop the count. Yeah, good bit of banter of that. So yeah, Southend can stop the count there. That'll do. End the day there. We'll see. Yeah. How's your game going anyway?
My game is still 0-0. I think Bournemouth are dominating though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they got 60% possession against 40. To be honest, that's it. It just seems like they're playing keep ball, but it's too early. Bournemouth are more of a second half team, I think. They're doing all right. They had a bit of a slow start of the season because naturally, being a Norwich supporter, I have to keep a little bit of an eye on the teams around us. And they normally hit quite well in the second half, or quite late onto the first half. So I'm hoping Luton do us a favour, but I think Bournemouth will win this game quite easily.
Yeah, they're. I like Luton. To be fair, it wasn't that long ago though outside the Football League.
Yeah, no.
I say we've had a few bust ups with them as a Southend. You know, there was one game when we were both in League Two and we were going for automatics. We ended up beating them and then losing to Morecambe on the last game of the season. Ended up going to the playoffs, and luckily we won the playoffs. You know, what a great way to go up. We've always had always had good games with Luton. Funny enough, we then left them in League Two. They came back up the following year, and now look at them, they're the Championship. We're bottom of League Two, so
yeah,
they're doing well.
They're mid-table Championship as well. They're doing all right.
You know what? I've not looked at it. To be fair, I've not followed the Championship. I barely follow football at all because of how bleak it is at Southend.
I don't know if you watched it, but Reading were top by quite a long way at the beginning of the season. I think they were like 6-7 points clear at one stage. And now they've just gone on a ridiculous losing run. They were top, and I think it was since the last international break they went in top. And I think now if results stay the same way they are now, so they're playing Brentford.
Yeah, they're 3-0 down. After half an hour.
That's going to knock them out of the top 6. And Reading were flying at the start of the season. Everyone was putting them to be playoffs, automatics. Now something's happened there for them to just fly down.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the league table now. Actually, Sheffield Wednesday, man. I mean, they had a points deduction, didn't they?
But didn't he get?
They had some points added back on.
Yeah.
They doesn't even mention it, which is a shame.
Derby as well.
The Derby, man, that's crazy. But again, they're unbeaten. Like the last 5 games, they haven't lost. They're just not picking up enough wins. 3 wins, 7 draws. You know.
What's your opinion on Wayne Rooney being manager of Derby full time?
He was brought in for that reason, to actually get his coaching badges and work his way up. I think it's far too soon, especially in that situation. But then, you know, at what point is it not going to be too soon for him? Because he's come in for that reason to coach and be involved. The last time I saw him play was actually against Norwich, and a free kick, and they're about to sub him off. and they get the free kick, and it was so surreal because I'm looking at it thinking he's going to score this, like it's just Wayne Rooney. He just steps up, and just guides in the top corner, just so nearly a goal for Southampton again. But no, just technically sound, like just such a brilliant player. And a lot of players at the top of their game, they stay there, they take all the money, and then as soon as the club doesn't want them at the top level with the big money, they retire.
Yeah.
Rooney's gone about it as he's gone to America and he's played. Yeah, okay, that's probably good money, but he's come back to England to carry on playing and better his career. You know, very rare do you see top players do that because then they sort of become a bit forgotten.
Yeah, well, he just loves football. I don't think he cares what level he plays at. He just loves football, and you can see it that in how happy he is at Derby, and that although he wants this managerial position, he's come out and said it, and he's happy. If he gets offered the job, he'll retire from playing. But it wouldn't surprise me if whoever comes in, if he doesn't get the job, will make him assistant manager straight away anyway, because he's doing a good job. As you said, I don't think they've lost in the last 5. And for a team who were really struggling before, it'll be interesting to actually find out how many points he's got as manager.
Yeah, so when did he take over? That's what I'm just trying to figure out.
Month and a half ago, 2 months. He's been there in charge for a while.
So I'm just looking back from November. So they lost to QPR, then they lost to Barnsley, then they lost to Bristol City, then they lost to Middlesbrough, then they drew with Wickham. So the whole of November they got a point. Then December's come about. They drew with Coventry, so now 2 points. Then they beat Millwall, so now 5 points. Drew Brentford 6 points. Drew Stoke 7 points, and then beat Swansea, so 10 points in 2 months. It's not quite relegation form. You know, he sort of salvaged it the last month, but that November, fucking hell.
I think he took over mid-November, so you've got the transition period of where Rooney's got to come in, first managerial job as well, so he has to kind of get used to being, and players know him as a player coach, not as a manager. So he's got to then get that respect for being the manager. And I think he'll be all right. I think there's no harm in giving him till the end of the season contract, because he's got the job, because there's a takeover as well. Derby, isn't there? So that's why they're not hiring a manager and keeping Rooney in place, because they want the new owner to pick the manager.
Yeah, so I just found that his managerial record is 6 games. It's 2 wins, 2 draws. He's not lost yet.
That's not bad. Hang on. Did you say 6 games, 2 wins, 2 draws?
2 wins, 4 draws. I might have said 2 wins, 2 draws. Yeah, 2 wins, 4 draws. So it's no, it's not too bad, is it? Really? I mean, I guess you got off to a bad start with a draw then. You can't really criticise him for that. The way people were banging on about it, I thought it was worse than that.
Yeah. Well, I think he's got a team who are performing really badly, and he's got them to at least pick up points, and that's the most important thing in the Championship. If you go on a losing run, you really struggle. It's when you start picking up points, and that's salvaged your season. And until he probably gets to January and he brings in some of his old mates and to come into the team till the end of the season, I reckon just pick up enough points for the rest of 2020 and then see what you can do in January.
I'll say, arguably, they had a 6-pointer today against Rotherham, but that was postponed. I don't know if that was COVID related.
More than likely. Everything what's suspended at the moment is more than likely due to COVID.
Yeah, at that level as well. There's no excuse for the pitches, especially Rotherham, brand new stadium.
Yeah.
It's not exactly going to get a waterlogged pitch, I imagine.
Rotherham, are they the Millers?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've had an outbreak. I was reading that before the podcast.
That was it.
Yeah.
They're crazy. Like, Rotherham, how they've sort of just climbed up the football ladder in the last 10 years.
I feel sorry for them because they're such a yo-yo team at the moment. They're like Norwich in the Premier League. They're too good for the League One, but they get to the Championship and they can't hold it. And then they'll get relegated again and then be back up next season. Because they went down the season we went up, and now we're playing them again. But I don't know. I think they might stay up this season. They've got a chance, because especially if Derby don't do what I think they're going to do and turn their season around, I think Rotherham will stay up.
Yeah, they're one of those that they get to the championship and they just, pogo around, as you say. What year were they founded? I don't know too much about them, to be fair. I'm just going to give them a little look. I'm used to obviously seeing Southend playing normally. I don't think they're that. Yeah, it's not massively old. 1925. I was just looking at it looks like they came to. Just trying to find their league history, but I can't seem to find it. You know what? I can't find no record of them. I've got 2013-14 all the way up to now, and then 2001 to 2004, and that's it.
Yeah.
I can't find their record. No idea. No idea. I'm pretty sure they were out of the Football League at one point. I don't remember Rotherham being a team when I was younger. Maybe someone in the comments can let us know where Rotherham always been in the Football League and I've just completely forgotten about them, or were they non-league at one point about, I'm gonna say like 10 years ago or something,
Yeah.
So maybe they can let us know. But no, the other big result today was Liverpool. Did you watch that?
I didn't actually, because I was at work till 1 o'clock, and then when I got home, I was rushing around trying to get ready for this. But yeah, I think it was you who actually told me that they won 7-0.
Yeah, I wasn't watching it. My dad shouted upstairs saying, "Have you seen the Liverpool score?" And no, I hadn't. And yeah, 7-0. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what.
Spurs last week, didn't they?
Well, I don't know what to think of that because Palace are a mid-table side. It's yeah, it's obviously a cracking result. I don't know what to read into that though, because Liverpool have been a bit not sluggish to start the season, but I feel like there's a bit of a hangover from last season's achievement, and they got that defeat out of the system early on, and it's not become a habit, that's good because they've able to lose and carry on.
I don't see Liverpool not winning the league. As much as I'd love to see a Spurs or even a Leicester win the league again, Liverpool have got that squad depth what a lot of teams don't really have anymore. Man City, yes, they're winning at the moment as things stand, but Southampton are knocking at the door by everything I've heard.
Yeah, they've not been playing well at all. It's all been Southampton. Man City, their back four is turning like a bus. Right now Walcott's just ragdolling one of their players around. It's just like I won't be surprised if Southampton gets something from this game.
Yeah, I've always liked Southampton. I don't know why. I've always had a bit of a soft spot. I guess because they've always kind of never done anything out of their means. They've never brought out their means. They've sold well, haven't they?
Yeah, well, they've sold when they've had to, I guess.
Yeah, but they've kind of brought in, what was it? But they brought Van Dijk in for however much, like probably less than 15 million, and then sold him for however much they sold him for. Like, look at the profits they make. Walcott came through the youth academy and sold him to Arsenal for a lot of money when he was still young, and now they've got him back on loan. And as you said about Walcott off camera, or before this, he looks, 5 years younger?
Yeah, he looks younger. And I know he was still playing at Everton because you said like maybe it's the playing time, but he was still playing at Everton, And I know he wasn't like massively shit, but he never really stood out. I don't know whether it's just because there's this whole like what do they call it? Because he's gone back to Southampton, it's like this story,
Yeah.
That it's a lot more like a romantic thing that he's gone back to Southampton, and now people are keeping an eye on him maybe. Where at Everton it was just like, oh, he's at Everton. Where now it's like he's gone back to his roots, so it's this maybe it's something to keep an eye on. Maybe that's why. But
yeah, you see players who just can't perform at the big clubs go back to their home or their club they grew up at, and they start performing again, not because of the love of like most players go to big clubs because of love of football and love of money. Walcott's gone back for the love of Southampton. He's always said that he loved his time at Southampton.
Yeah.
And now he's gone back home, if you want to say it like that, and he's proved a point. He's still a quality player, and he can still perform in the Premier League.
Yeah, I've always liked Walcott. It was always when he was at Arsenal, some people wanted him to be a striker. He wanted to be a striker, and as a neutral, I always wanted to see him scoring goals.
Mm.
I wanted to see Walcott turn into that striker because he was quick. And I think the sort of player that, in a way, England, we never really got Theo Walcott, did we?
No. Yeah, but he was in that really kind of in between the team who should have won something and this team, wasn't he? He was in that kind of bracket with the old and the new coming in. It's never really broke into the team. But...
No, yeah, he's basically coming as a winger off the back of having people like Beckham and Joe Cole, and he was in part of that England squad that failed to qualify for Euro.
Yeah.
So he came on the scene at the wrong time, I think. But that's interesting. If he was about now, do you reckon he would actually be in the England squad? If prime Walcott, is he better than what we've got now with Sancho and Sterling and Rashford?
I think he would be someone good to have around the squad. Now, at his age, he's still got the quality.
What do you think now?
If he's better than, is he better than Sancho and Sterling? No. But has he got a more mature head than those two? Yes. And sometimes a squad doesn't need the best player in the world in the squad. You need the mature heads of players just to push the better players. Like Sancho, world-class player, all the time in the world for him. But if you had someone like Theo Walcott who can come onto a game, and if you need a bit of maturity on the pitch, you bring on Walcott, that would drive Sancho to do the boring jobs as a attacking winger. He'd have to get back more. He'd have to. I think he could make it into the England squad if there was like an injury crisis with the England squad. He'd still do a job and make people like Sancho work harder.
Yeah. So I think my question of that would be, so prime Walcott, 25 years old, Walcott at his best when he was at Arsenal. Would he get is he better than what we got now?
It's not better, but he'll push them. Back there, he's not better than Sancho. I'm sorry, Sancho is better than Walcott ever was. But he's always been...
Sterling, obviously, in my opinion, is world class. I've never understood the criticism he got. The fact that people would slag him off. I mean, I was in Germany one time. I was talking to German football fans. They love Sterling, and they all said Sterling is our best player. And when I explained to him that people don't like him in England, and a lot of fans picking a team he wouldn't be in it, they said that's why England don't win anything, because we criticise people for the wrong reasons. And I 100% agree. Like, our media for years has slagged off our better players.
I'm going to defend what I said when he was at Liverpool. Was he great at Liverpool? No. He was good, don't get me wrong, but he was like 18, 19 when he was
he's a teenager.
And everyone was bigging him up, and I went, look, he's going to get better. But he was playing with a very in-form Sturridge that season. And Suarez, arguably was the best striker to ever play for Liverpool, arguably. I'll put it like that. But he wasn't the best out. He was the worst out of those three. But because he was young, there was a lot of room to grow. And I'll happily admit, I didn't think he was that great that season. He didn't have the finishing. He had the pace, but his crossing was quite bad. His finishing was quite bad. Suarez and Sturridge made him look good. But when he went to Man City, I said, that's a good move for him. And then he wasn't great at Man City for the first season or two. But then Pep came in and developed him, what he hadn't really got. He nurtured him to become the player he is now. So he's world-class now. But I have said in the past he wasn't world-class. But I've said he's going to be. So I'm being proved right again.
So I'm just looking at his stats here. So with Liverpool, 35 goals, 35 games, 7 goals, 7 assists. That was in the Premier League. In Europa, 2 matches and 0 goals. EFL Cup, that was 4 matches, 3 goals. Champions League, 6 matches, no goals. But we're talking 5 years ago, who's like 20 years old.
Yeah.
You know, it's and then you look at Man City. His first season there with 31 games, 6 goals, 2 assists. 33 games, 7 goals, 6 assists. And then you get to the 17-18 season, now 33 games, 18 goals, 11 assists. That's 29 goals he's responsible for there in 33 games.
Yeah.
You know, and then the next season he does it again with he's 27 goals in 27 goals he's responsible in basically directly involved with in 34 appearances. 21 the following season in 33 games. This season is bit slower, but he's still responsible, directly involved with 5 goals in 12 appearances. And he's 26.
Yeah. I've just been proved completely correct about what I said about him at Liverpool.
But he's coming through as a youngster. You know, I remember the first time I ever saw him was the FA Youth Cup semi-final, and it was Southend versus Liverpool at Anfield. Liverpool beat Southend. Bear in mind, Southend's youth team were there on merit. They'd got to the semi-final of the FA Cup. You know, but they weren't doing giant killings. They're a very good youth side. They play in the second tier of youth football at the time. And Liverpool won 7-0. And Sterling came on, and Sterling scored 4 goals in that game. And that's when Dalglish put him in the first team.
Yeah.
You know, you see this quick winger just absolutely tearing us apart, and you're like, fuck hell, he's a bit of a riot, isn't he, that guy? And then Dalglish brings him in the Liverpool team, and I think he's I sort of agree with you at the start. He was just a very quick youngster that I guess wasn't really producing much of a final ball. But yeah, Pep's turned him into someone that's world class. You know, and again scores again today. So
yeah, he's definitely one who's matured under the right manager. I'll put it like that. I think Pep was the right manager for him, because Pep's been there since he started playing well, isn't he? What was it, 2017-18, the first season he started doing really well for Man City?
Yeah.
And yeah,
I remember there being a time where people were talking about whether Guardiola would stick with him, whether they'd actually sell him, or whether he'd even get the team. You know, whether that's just fans talking, but
yeah, well, you've always
it's half time now. Southampton 0, Man City 1. But Man City haven't looked good at all, in my opinion. I don't know what the Southend score is currently. Let's have a look. Last time we saw it was 5 minutes at a time. It says 1-0 half time.
Yeah, 0-0 my half. Bournemouth had more possession, but Luton have had more shots on target. So I think that's going to be an interesting second half.
Yeah, I was going to look at the other scores actually going around the Football League. The big one that really stands out for me is, as you say, Reading losing 3-0 at Brentford.
Yeah, but then Huddersfield are beating Watford 2-0.
Yeah.
That's going to really, because Watford go from 3rd down to 5th now. If
that's
results
gonna,
stay the same.
Yeah, that's going to spice up your Boxing Day then, isn't it? Because they won't want 2 defeats on the bounce.
No, I think we'll get a draw in that one. No, we seem to choke against Watford and Bournemouth. We lost to Bournemouth. I think it might have even been 2 or 3-0 earlier in the season. But yeah, I think Watford will draw with. We should have near enough all our players back by then. We're slowly getting our best 11 back fit. I think we've only got 3 players, first team players, who are out injured now. Tim Krul's back in training, could be playing Boxing Day, I think now. That was quite good having him back.
Oh, nice. He's your number one goalkeeper, is it? is the most important player at every club.
I'm going to say, for someone who's barely played since being a Norwich goalkeeper, Mickey McGovern stepped up and has made some absolute wonder saves. I think we were 2-1 during the week against... Who did we play during the week? Reading. Last minute of the game, Reading had an absolute beautiful free kick. It wasn't going top corner, but it was going in, and Mickey McGovern slapped it over the bar, full stretched. Absolute wonder save. He did the same against Sheffield Wednesday, point blank header, and he managed to tip that out wide. For someone who's barely played for us to step up and actually perform that well, I think we've only lost one game in that time when everyone was kind of like shitting themselves. Yeah, we've done quite well and can only get better for Norwich personally, I think, because we've had an injury crisis and we've come out the other side without dropping too many points. We're still top of the league.
No, I was like, you got enough depth in that squad. I know you said about the injuries and everything, but you're still picking up results. That's a good thing. It must be a nightmare for the manager, because then what do you do when all these players come back? Do you keep this team as it is, or do you put these so-called big names back in? But look at what you've achieved with a lesser team. You could potentially rock the boat here by bringing in, I know your goalkeeper. You got to stick with your first team goalkeeper, but the other players, are you just going to bring them straight back in? Arguably stronger on paper, but
we've got. I think our bench. We've still got 2 or 3 youth team players on the bench, but I think Boxing Day will have a full strength bench. What will be the first time in 2 months? I think 3 months. And we've got players who got injured in pre-season coming back. We've got Quintia, our left back, our only left back, coming back. He's been back at Valencia. His the team we've got him on loan from, doing all the recovery, because Valencia went, just send him back here. We'll do the recovery for him and send him back to you. I think we've got a buyout on him as well. That's why they were happy to do that. But he's coming back, doing training. He should be back in the new year, I think. Dow, I can't remember his first name. He's coming back. But we've had Hernandez out. He's coming back. And we've got our new centre back. I always forget his name, coming back. So there's going to be a headache for Daniel Bucker. But I'd rather have a headache than an injury crisis.
Yeah. So I've just been looking at changing the subject real quick. We've been looking at League Two results.
Yeah.
So Southend winning, but we're still in the relegation zone. We basically come off the bottom on 15 points. Mansfield, who we are playing and beating currently, have now dropped 4 places to now be just a point above us, but they're now 22nd. Barrow winning. Bradford are, what are they doing currently? Winning. And Grimsby are winning. So all the teams above us, winning. So, if we don't win today, eventually it becomes really bad. So we've really got to hold on to this now, because if everything ends as it is, we'll be on 15 points. Mansfield will be on 16. Barrow will be on 16. Bradford will be on 17. And Grimsby will be on 19. That's it's not good. I mean, we're a game in hand with Mansfield and Barrow, so you think add 3 points onto that puts us on 18. We could potentially be 2 points clear of them with win that game in hand. But our game in hand is against Cambridge.
Yeah.
So it's got more more nervy now for the second half, which is about to start soon. But
still a long way to go. Still a long way to
go. But no, it's a shame we couldn't get Duke on the show today. I think it could have been a good one to have him on. But hey, at least we're just talking football.
Yeah, going all round the houses this time, aren't we? Always nice to have a football chat, not just although it's been a good few weeks of different guests and different topics. To actually just talk real football. It's been a and especially last minute blagging it all the way across. It's
Yeah.
not been too.
I'll say, like, yeah, people watching, if you like, let us know what you think. If you think we should do some more of these, if we think we should do more episodes, just me and Will just talking football, talking bollocks. Is it enjoyable, or did you want to guess on today? Is it a shame that we didn't have one in the end? I guess we'll find out with the views on this video as well.
Yeah.
I say, I want to set a challenge now for each video. We want to hit 100 views on each video. We're only missing out on one, so if everyone can go and watch the Maradona episode, that'd be great. I'm only kidding, but we want to try and keep them all above 100. Yeah, so that's the challenge. But no, let us know what you think of this episode, because we're going back to what it was in episode 1, which was actually our most successful episode, funny enough. But we'll see. Do we get rid of the guests? Do we bin them off? Or do you want to see we want to see a mixture? So some just time me and Will, other times we'll have guests on. But no, let us know. Again, if you're watching this video, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can find out when we drop a new episode. And drop a review on the podcast as well, whether you're listening to on Spotify, whether you're on Anchor, and recommend us to a friend as well, because that really helps us out. So yeah, until next time, this has been Opening 45, and we will see you next week.
See ya.
Cheers, guys.